Thank you so much, madam, and uh, thanks for all the kind words which you had showered upon me. So, yeah. So, first of all, before I talk on the topic which Srilata madam has told, let me thank the VET, the Polytechnic College, for providing me an opportunity to talk to the next generation youth. So, who will be defining the country progress? So, if you see from 1980s to the 2010 or something, right, the way China progressed. So, it's all about the average youth, wherein the 60 to 65% of the country's population were the youth. So they were driving the force, in the sense they were holding the bar of taking the country to the next level. In the same way, now from 2010 to 2050, so this is the India's growth, wherein more than 65% of India's population are the youth. That means the students who are studying in all these colleges. So you are the flag bearers to take the country's progress to the next level. So you have a very big responsibility with respect to that, and I'm very happy. That means after coming out of flying colors in your SSLC examination, you have joined diploma course, in whichever the different stream which you have selected upon. And and one thing which I want to tell you is VET is one of the best diploma college across the Karnataka itself. And the more the other than the studies, they enable the student to achieve their dream with whatever the proper mentoring and then the guidance by the well qualified teachers. So you got the right institution to go ahead and make a career out of in your life, a very good meaningful career. So as part of this discussion, in the sense how to address the rural India through technology, so I would like to tell few, in the sense, first we'll be having some discussion about how, what are the things which we need to do it. Basically now, if you see, right, so from the industry perspective I'll be talking, because as madam mentioned, I'm in this software domain, or in the industry domain, from in the technical domain itself, from past 15 years. So in one side, on the company side, in the sense the IT companies, or it may be related to the manufacturing companies, there is a huge demand for the resources. But on the other side also, we have many colleges, as I mentioned, 65% of the youth are studying in the sense colleges. So there is a huge demand from the company, in the sense with respect to the technology growth, there are so many job opportunities. But on the other side, colleges, we have many students, but there is a gap between the student who are coming out of the college and then the industry expectation. So ideally, the VET, the education institution, which is enabling the student with respect to the right guidance, with respect to skilling the students. So this is the platform, because now you students have entered the first year of diploma college, and then so as part of this program, so you have entered the first year diploma, and here is the point wherein you are concentrating on the studies. That is the first actual part. But other than the concentrating on the education part, so you need to develop the skills which is needed for the education part. So it's not only about scoring the marks. So whatever you learn with respect to the subject, you should become thorough with respect to that. So when you learn any theory subject, so you should understand what are the practical aspects of that particular topic, and how I can use it in my subject, and how I can make some experiments, and so that I'll be having more clarity with related to the subject. So this is the way, in the sense, the way you need to develop that particular skill in the college where you are studying. So I would suggest, it's about the scoring marks is very much important, but just don't get mugged up, because we have seen people who have scored very good marks in their diploma colleges, or in the sense engineering colleges. They won't be making a very successful career in IT field, because they have just mugged it up. What you need to concentrate more on is about the subject, learning the subject, in the sense understanding the topic, and what are the implications, how I can use it. So you should have that questioning capability. Those capabilities, once you have it, develop it in it, right, so you can make it definitely a very good career about of your engineering. Yeah, so this is the first point which I want to emphasize on you students, because this is where we students, in the sense, industry expects skilled labor. So you need to highly concentrate on the skilling aspect of your degree college. Other than that, yeah. So before, when I talk about yeah, so rural technology, how we, with the technology, how we can empower the rural technology. First, I'll be having two examples, two wonderful people. So we'll be having how they change the rural India with respect to their innovations, how they were able to make a life out of it. So then we will think about what are the opportunities which we have it. In the first two examples, first I'll be talking about, have you heard about the milkman, the white revolution of India? Who is that person who
Yes,
is in?
Varghese Kurian.
Yes. So correct answer, Varghese Kurian. So Varghese Kurian. So it's a, for me, right? He is always an inspiration. The way, and every, for every student, right? So he will become he is an inspiration with the way he has achieved tremendous progress in his life. So if you consider his education, right? So he has completed, basically he has completed his education in the mechanical engineering domain, wherein he was one of the topmost rank holder. And at that time, in 1940s time frame, right, Indian government decided that means this guy is a very brilliant guy, he needs to be given a very good mentoring, and it should be given, he should be pursued for the higher studies. So but he was very much interested in the physics domain, or with respect to the metallurgy and all these subjects. But government of India, because he was from a middle class background like all of us, so he was given a degree in dairy farming. So he was asked to study dairy farming in uh, sorry, in foreign university. So at that time he thought that because I have a interest in this whatever the physics and engineering domain, but they're asking me to study in dairy farming, he was little bit reluctant. And his uncle told that no, government of India has given you an opportunity, so you should utilize it. So the scholarship was given, even though he was little bit reluctant with respect to the dairy farming, he joined. And there also, but he didn't in the sense, even though he was reluctant, he was not so much interested with respect to the topic, but he ensured that he completed the degree and he passed with high flying colors. So he became the topper of the particular degree course. And then so he was given, he was awarded with respect to a gold medal from the university, and then he came back. And he was thinking that okay, government has given me the scholarship, so I have used it, and then I can pursue my interest, which is in the physics domain. So he came to his uncle and he told that no, 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 I have done as you mentioned. So even though I was not interested in the course, but I completed, but now I want to pursue my dream. And then his uncle told that government has spent lakhs of rupees at that time, 1950s time frame, right? It's a huge money. So they told that they are expecting output from you. You can't you can't escape by saying that no, no, no. So I have studied with respect to government money and I won't contribute anything to the country. And they told that no, you should serve Indian government now. So then Varghese Kurian, yes, okay. So my uncle has told that. So okay, so even government has given me all these benefits. So let me contribute to that the dairy farming sector. So that is the very nascent phase in India's dairy farming phase, wherein it was a completely halabol type of network where no one is where so many farmers are producing large amount of milk, and they were not getting the right people to sell it across. So it was the milk which was generated, so it was getting into, it was completely wasted. So at that time, Varghese Kurian took up this particular responsibility in Gujarat, the Anand district. And then he started thinking about the social entrepreneurship in the rural sector, how I can help this dairy farming sector. So he thought about it and he started using whatever the technology at that time in the 1950s. Or see, the technology, its expansion is expanding from very long years. Previously it was in the machines time frame, and now to whatever the today's generation, it's all the data driven technologies. So at that time it's about the thermal processing and how we can generate that milk powder. So these were the concepts which Varghese Kurian thought of integrating with respect to the dairy farming in Gujarat, in the Anand place. So he made a cooperative society of all this dairy farming agriculturists, and then he was able to make a group of people, and then everyone was coming to the cooperative society and they were selling over here. So basically, if in one place if it is abundant, so what they used to do is they will go and give it to the other place. So it's about they made a cooperative society wherein people who are having abundant of the cow milk will they will come over here, and people who have the buffalo milk, right? So they will also come over here, and then they will sell it across. So people who want to buy it, right? So they used to buy it from here. By this, the way Varghese Kurian, he has created that a huge a template wherein the rural income of the particular Gujarat district itself, it has increased to thricefold. So, and the milk output, it has become one of the biggest in the sense within the next 10 or 15 years, India has become the largest, the self-sustaining milk industry, wherein the rural employment was also provided to lakhs of people, and then the income also of all the whatever the dairy farming laborers, it was increased to the double. So he modeled this particular concept with respect to the cooperative, and he made it as a nationwide movement. So it's not only the Gujarat, and then it has spread to every state. So the way, in the sense, he built up the system, and the foreign companies like the Nestle, so they thought that, oh, this guy is making so much of profit with respect to dairy farming, and as a foreign company we should get into India. So then he told that Nestle came to India, and they told that we want to buy your Amul product company, and then we want to use the technology, we want to bring the enhanced technology of the foreign, in the sense the Nestle, who are the global leaders, to your company. But Varghese Kurian told that no, 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 I can't give the in the if I want to collaborate with you, what I expect from you is after few years you should give all the technology to India, and we will continue. So we are also capable. So we are not something like only the laborer part. So we want to we will take over the complete thing, and we will only manufacture it, and we will sell it across our Indian for Indian customers. But Nestle told that you guys, Indians, you don't have any intelligence. You can't build this technology. These are all of the highest. This thermal processing, these are the technologies which we use it, and then we have the automation system, so many things, and you can't develop it. But Varghese Kurian became angry at that point of time. On what basis he is saying that we Indians, we don't have any intelligence with respect to that? So we are the ones who defined the mathematics, or with respect to the Veda. So we are the ones who defined the world, and from our whatever the knowledge which we shared, the Britishers or someone, they borrowed it from us, and they started deriving the formulas out of it. So Varghese Kurian has that confidence that he can build a system of technology in Anand itself, and he rejected the Nestle demand. And within 5 years, right? So he has completely changed the dairy farming industry itself. So he started manufacturing the milk powder. It has become a huge product, and whatever the Nestle, it has beat a, because India the population is huge, and then the milk powder, so it has gained huge attention across the globe, and they were able to make a huge profit out of it. And then Nestle thought that, okay, so they're making a huge thing, and then once again they came back, and they told that last time they told that you don't have any knowledge with respect to technology. But after 5 years they came back once again, and they told that want to collaborate. It's not about acquiring, we want to collaborate, we want to work with you. See, in the sense, once we have the confidence, right, as Indians, we can achieve anything. We have all the capability, and we have all the knowledge with respect to our system. Only the thing is, we need the confidence, and we need the right guidance. So this is the way Varghese Kurian has changed the dairy farming sector. So this is the he's an inspiration for all of us, the way he has changed the social entrepreneurship of the rural sector in India. And the next one, maybe which I'll be talking about, is a very young guy. So he is in the age of 22 or 23. He has completed his, I believe he's in his final year of engineering in mechanical in Karnataka itself. So he's studying in Belgaum, Niranjan Karagi. So he's a very innovative young guy. so basically he also comes from the rural background, and I'll be talking about his product, so what he has developed it. So basically we need to get these type of, so how they were able to develop these products within respect to our whatever the limitations which we have it. So my request to all the students is we need to get details about these students and how they were able to make progress in their life. So this 22-year-old Niranjan Kargi, maybe if you in Google, right, maybe you can search Nirnal, Nirnal. So I will type it once the session is over. You can check his website. So he has developed world's cheapest water filter. So the water filter, right? So it may be in the some, we know that it costs in thousands of rupees, but he's giving that product just for rupees 30, just for 30 rupees. And he is from Karnataka and he's still a student. So I will tell you about this product. Basically, he is also from the rural background itself. And then so he is also from one of the humbling places in North Karnataka, wherein the many students, they were not they were getting all this in North Karnataka and many places, due to the chemicals or due to the not water, due to, as they are not getting the clean water with respect to in their particular area. So he found out that that means many children are getting sick because of this, because of not getting the clean water. So he used to go to the playgrounds in his villages, and he was very much disturbed. So as a necessity is the mother of invention. So in that way, he started thinking, why I can't help my village kids to have the basic access of getting clean water. So this youngster, right? So he thought in this particular direction, what I can do, because he's also into diploma and then he's into engineering. So he thought what I can do. So in this way, when he started thinking about it, right? So basically, he brainstormed the ideas, and then with the filtration, so whatever the water filtration, right? So he come up with a small idea of low cost. With whatever the products which was available in his home itself, so we made a proper this one filter product with respect to whatever the plastic which was available in home, and he started showing it to the its college lecturers. They were very much impressed in the sense how the filtering was happening.
Watch meeting ka.
Yeah. So they were
ನಿಮ್ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ.
Sir, your voice is...
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So Niranjan, he thought that that means for its village, right? So for all his students, this is responsibility to provide the clean access of water. And then he contacted his college, and then college lecturers guided him to come up with a better version of this product. And then he went to many of the, like Gururaj Deshpande Innovation Center, which is in Dharwad. So he went there and he told that this is the product which I want to use it, which I want to develop it, and which I want to give it to students to the villages across the Karnataka. So the foundation, it's one more startup innovation center which works on the rural entrepreneurship. They told that, okay, so whatever the product which you have designed is wonderful, so we'll make it as a very structured way. So they started mentoring him. So basically the college he went to the college, lecturers providing the right guidance, and lecturers asked him to visit the Gururaj Deshpande Foundation. So through the Gururaj Deshpande Foundation, he got more inputs how to make it as a very good product, and then he patented his product also. So within the last around 2016, he started working on this project, and by 2019, right, so his product become one of the most sellable product across the globe. So even in China or any of the countries, right, so they started because it's just for 30 rupees. So for just 30 rupees, he was able to filter the water, and he was giving it a very clean water for all the village households. So in this way, so he has a dream. That means he has that particular mission wherein the rural people should get the right sanitized in the good amount of water. So his intentions finally it got transferred to with respect to the action, and then he was able to deliver them this particular product. So with and in the last 2 years he has been awarded by state government as well as the central government from the Abdul Kalam Innovation Award Center. So he has received many applauds within this particular time. So but even though in the his main intention was rural, so by that way, so he was able to deliver some product. So always when you see, because if you see any innovations, right, or with respect to the rural technology or anywhere, right, so it's about the first thing is about the problem. We need to analyze what is the problem. So what is that particular problem? And before we analyze the problem, if you directly come to the solution, it doesn't make sense. So problem is with respect to the water or with respect to any agriculture or anything, right? Or with respect to your any electronics domain or something. Analyzing the problem is the most crucial part. Everyone should do it. And then analyzing the problem and then discussing with your fellow friends as well as your teachers or mentors, right? So they will give you the right direction, and then you can think about the solution. So once you plug in all these things, right, analyzing and then discussing and then coming up with a proper solution, you can make a very good product out of it. So these are the real examples wherein students who are from where they are from the real background. Varghese Kurian, we know that. So he has been awarded the highest prestigious award, Padma Vibhushan also. And then this the new young block in the technology sector, Niranjan Karagi. So he's making his mark with respect to the changes in the rural sector. So this is the way. So we need to think in that particular aspect. So think, and then come out with the right solution, because we are all engineers or we are all diploma or degree holders. So why we joined this particular diploma or engineering is, and why can't other people are not joining, means we have that thinking capability. Think about the problem and come up and analyze and properly come up with the right solution. So these are the two personalities which I just want to highlight. So how they were able to transform the rural population in their own circle itself. So they started in their own initial phase, and then with respect to the right guidance, they can take it. They've taken it up to the next level, and they were able to deliver the products. So the technology, when it comes to the technology, right, so it's all about the innovation is not only limited to the whatever the Chandrayaan launch or the Android mobile, or with respect to the Apple the phone updates. So science has made it it's in everyone's life, so it has entered into everyone's life. And in India also, right, even in rural places also, many there are several innovative products are coming out from the rural India itself. So this the technology is facilitating this particular change that work towards the better quality of living. So and then the economic activity also. So and this whatever, I think last 6 months we have all gone through this COVID pandemic. And I agree, the COVID pandemic has created huge unprecedented crisis. But on the other side, right, the technology, let us think about around 40 or 50 years back, where we don't have any technology, where we were not able to communicate, or where we can't have Zoom sessions like this. So then there was no communication at all, that there was no education at all. So with this technology, right, now people who are in US, right, they can communicate to a person who is sitting in Chikbalapur district or with respect to the Dharwad district. So the way technology has enabled it, right, so it's about you can communicate to any places. So there are so much of in the sense the technology has helped us. So and with respect to the rural, right, now many of them are getting into this particular aspect of artificial intelligence. You would have heard about it. And then the Internet of Things, the IoT, this is the main concept, the IoT of things, Internet of Things, which is driving the rural development sector. See, as our prime minister mentioned, so if we want to have a Atmanirbhar Bharat, that means the self-reliant Bharat, then the rural population, if you see, right, around 68% of the population are still in the rural sector. If India wants to be a major power in the globe, then this 68% rural population needs to be uplifted. So yes, urban, we have this all this connect and all those things, wherein we can share the information, where we can get the right set of information. But the same information we need to carry to the rural population, wherein the 68% of population, then only India can become the superpower or Vishwaguru, which our prime minister is dreaming of. So in this particular way, right, so we, all of us, the technology people, in the sense the degree holders like you, or the employees who are working in IT, or any of them, right, we have a bigger role, wherein we need to facilitate the urban and rural, because it's about see, now it's very simple. I can talk to any person across any village through the mobile network, right? So because every place has this particular, I agree, so still we were not able to penetrate into most of the, in some of the villages, but we are in the process, wherein we can communicate to any person across the globe through using the technology. Now we have that 3G, 4G. I think they can download the video streams in 4G. So it's all about the technology and IoT, the Internet of Things, which is enabling many fields. So uh, I can list out some examples with respect to that. So basically, technological advancements in the rural India is critical, because this is the only way where we can build the nation. So the digital technologies, the digital India, which we are talking about, like the cloud computing, and then the Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, data analytics. Data plays a very major role, because last year it's all about the machine. Last century, sorry, it's all about how through the machines we were able to see the growth of the country. But now everything is data. Data has become the gold. It has become the gold mine. So whoever has the right set of data, and how you analyze the data, and how you are going to enhance the customer satisfaction, that is going to make you the king of this particular technology. So to divide this, all this, to bridge this rural and urban divide, we need to share that same information across the rural place also. So, and now with respect to, as you all know, right, the mobile phones are also coming, prices are coming down, and then rural people also, they are able to access it. So the hardware, whichever previously, which was around some 5,000 or 10,000, like small microprocessor, now Arduino microprocessor. So the Arduino processor, right? So now you will get it around 500 or 600 rupees. See, the prices are also becoming very affordable, which is enabling the young innovators like you to come up with some solutions, like so how we can enhance the agriculture field. So if you see small innovations, right, in this Internet of Things, maybe I would suggest you can go through Internet of Things in Google, and find out what are the innovative solutions which are done. And most of the innovative solutions are on the rural domain. So that is the biggest enabling part. In the rural side, people who have come up with this type of wonderful solutions, right, it is making a list of huge impact. If I talk about the education, right, so basically in rural villages, for 30 one school, right, they have 30 teachers, sorry, 30 students, and they have only one teacher. So basically the teacher, right, so she'll be having only access to she'll be very good with respect to one subject, like because she has done her education in arts, so she is very good in Kannada, English, or but she won't be knowing science. But with having the proper technology, right, like a digital classroom, and then with respect to connecting to the projector or speaker, right, a school teacher who sits in a different place, but he's very good, he is a degree holder in science, so he can take the class. So with this, right, so basically we can bridge the gap. See, technology, now with COVID pandemic, I agree, so we are not having the proper the classes are very much essentially needed. But other than that, right, so with the proper usage of technology, as I mentioned, teacher who is sitting in some other place, so she's mastered in science. And then for the students who are in a different remote place, through this whatever the digital platform which is available, they can communicate and they can provide the education. We have so many mobile apps and then applications with related to this, the e-patashala or e-vidyaloka. So many the mobile teaching units, so they have so many things wherein you can download the government NCRT subjects. See, now I think mobile is reaching many places, even though most of them don't have it. But people who have it, right, so they can download the subjects. There is no need for them to come to Bangalore to buy the books or certain things. It's all they can just download it across. And then So this is the way education also, because education is the enabler for India's growth. And this rural technology using the education, definitely it will make a bigger impact, wherein the rural urban divide will get where the urban students are getting better education compared to the rural education, can be addressed upon, where rural gets the right set of education with the right teachers. If we have some diploma or engineering teachers in Bangalore, they can teach it in Chikballapur or Gudibande or any of the North Karnataka district through the Zoom session or any of the Google Meet section. In the same way, health sector, if you think about it, right, the pandemic, the COVID pandemic has shown how we are vulnerable. So if a person, right, in a village, let us say that is around some 150 kilometers away from Bangalore, and in village we have one primary healthcare center, that's it, wherein the person, the local doctor, who will be just checking that particular, and then he'll be giving certain medicine. But now, and so if he wants to get a specialized treatment or something, right, so he has to come to 150 kilometers, and then he has to, so for him, right, so he has to spend thousands of rupees, like he has to come to Bangalore and he won't get the appointment, so he has to wait for another 2 days, so he has to stay somewhere. So this has become a huge concern. See, to address this particular, right, so people started thinking, why we can't provide a telemedicine? I think that means, right, so in a primary healthcare, so government also thinking about in this direction, wherein a primary a village person in his, if he has a mobile or mobile app, right, so basically he can write his information. So this, I have this, all these chronic diseases like the sugar or BP. So, and then he can write the what was the rating 3 months before, and whether he has some other any medical issues or something. So basically, you will be maintaining that particular record, and then this data, right? So basically, as I mentioned, the Internet of Things. So then through the whatever the SIM card which they connected, so it will get stored into the network. So once that data is available, right, after 3 or 4 months, he can contact the same doctor itself, and he can give, that means he can just check what was his patient, because doctor will be treating thousands of patients, and these people are from the rural background. So what they can do is, sir, this is my patient ID. Once he gives the patient ID, right, so he will get all the necessary set of information. So this is the way, in the sense, the health sector also, it's making a huge impact with respect to the enabling the technology, wherein the village people, rural people, there is no need for them to come to city to get the treatment. So so these are the solutions wherein people are using the education, the healthcare, and with respect to the agriculture also. So there are many things which are coming out now with respect to the IoT, wherein to irrigate the fields, right, so to save the water, uh, they have come up with some IoT solutions, wherein that means for small farmers who use the drip irrigation, maybe if you know it, right, so we need to define that means water is an increase, it's an uh, very precious resource for them. So how to control this water flow? So basically, all these things remotely they can do it through the Internet of Things, with whatever the combination of the IoT sensors, and then the activate and then with through the mobile applications. So basically, let us say that I'm sitting in Bangalore, and I want to control my irrigation system, the drip irrigation system in my farm in some Dharwad district, which is some around 400 kilometers. I can easily connect it through that, through the IoT sensors. So these are the ways. And with respect to if forest, right, if you consider about the tribal places or forest, wherein the elephants are going to that means there are places wherein elephants, because we have taken their place also, that due to the deforestation, elephants, they won't be knowing it, so they'll be entering the farmlands and they'll be entering the villages. And in some places we have heard people have lost lives because elephant has entered the villages. So to avoid that, right, so they have come up with some infrared technology, wherein whenever the elephants enter a particular place, so through the sensors and then the movement of elephant, so basically they will be, villagers will be intimated through the mobile services, SMS, and then they will be able to know that, okay, elephant has come, so they should be very safe, and they will send that means they will inform the forest officials, so that there is a system across. So there are many ways by which even the tsunami kills also, right? It's all about the technology. So we know that there is a tsunami which is coming on. So there is a warning which gets, and through the mobile, right, there will be a broadcasting messages. So which will help the people to go to the safer places. So technology, and then with respect to the rural, there is a huge opportunity, and there are so many products which we can think of. There are hundreds of products. So it's about how we innovate and how we make our life very comfortable. This is the way we should think. And India's progress is dependent on the rural growth, and we have a huge responsibility with respect to using of this technology in the right direction. And many farmers, right, through the now website itself, like I have heard about some Subiksha or something in the last week, wherein they just opened a website, and organic farming. So basically everyone say that we do the organic farming, and in the website they say that that means we will give you the farmers information. So they started selling their products through their online platform. A farmer who is sitting in North Karnataka, he can sell the product to Bangalore through the online platform itself. So people are using the technology in the right direction. If you use the right technology, definitely rural economy will also strive very well, and then we can make a huge progress with respect to the country growth, and we can definitely be a self-reliant Bharat. So these are the initial points with respect to the which I want to emphasize on it. So technology, you need to learn, and then the way you innovate from your understanding, and you should talk to your mentors, and then you should talk to your teachers and get the right solution and make a huge contribution to the country's growth through the technology. Yeah. Thank you so much, Srilata Madam, for this wonderful opportunity to talk to youngsters.